Welcome to Unapologetically Racist, the show where nothing is off the table. And today, instead of focusing on race, we are going to focus on a topic that hampers every single person. And that is how we as humans are responsible for the AI compatibility or lack of human interaction. Today, in the studio, we have Adib Maharaj, owner, founder, CEO of Lemniscate Counseling and Wellness. Adib, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You as a counselor, please tell me, what is your feeling towards AI? And obviously, you can't go into detail as to what your clients come with, but when they look at AI as an alternative to human interaction, what do you normally advise them?
So there has been a lot of conversation in the practice about artificial intelligence in terms of a tool and artificial intelligence in terms of a overtaking entity that will, eradicate our relevancy in the workforce. In other words, AI is going to take away their jobs. There's a lot of fear around that. And my personal take on it is that I'm not against any form of technology, right? I'm not against any technology at all. I mean, if you walked past my desk, I mean, nine things out of that entire desk is full of tech, and I embrace it. But I know where to draw the line. So there's a lot of moderation that we have to keep in mind when we're using AI, because one thing you need to understand, right? AI is a machine.
Yes.
Right? So just like everything else, there's always been an interaction between humans and machines. We love machines, right? Because it makes our life convenient. We get things done effectively and efficiently. And the best example I'll give you is that, Shady, your shop is down the road. How are you getting there?
Oh, because I'm a bit fat, I'll actually drive there.
You drive there. Okay, so you're gonna drive there. Why not walk?
It's convenience.
Because the car makes it effective and efficient, probably even safe as well, to get to your shop and come back, right? So that's the relationship we have.
You mentioned safety. Obviously, South Africa, and it's plagued with gender-based violence. Do you think now this will now become a comfort for human interaction? Because obviously everything happens in the States. I was reading a business article in a week that said Mark Zuckerberg now wants to start AI for introverts and younger kids. And looking at the situation that we have in South Africa, especially with the heinous crimes towards women, do you think this will have more of an effect for a woman not to seek out comfort in a man, especially in your more violent areas?
Okay, so there's a lot of points here that you made mention of. So let's see. First of all, we're talking about AI in relation to human interaction.
Yes, and compatibility.
Right. So the first thing we must understand is that humans are social beings.
Yes.
Right. So we thrive in a society. So if you have at least one, two, maybe three peers, friends, colleagues, family, and you have that interaction going on, you feel better, right? So there's a lot of chemicals that play in our mind or run through our body that makes us feel good. Over a period of time, though, I wouldn't just limit it to AI, but I'd limit it to a number of things, right? So I'd limit it over a period of time, but I'm not limiting it to AI. But I'm talking about technology as a whole. We're bringing in social media and so forth. Like you said, you're going to make chatbots for introverts, and the question is why, right? So an introvert is an individual that gains feels better by themselves, You know, they interact well with themselves, they're more creative. And when they go and interact with people, it's not that they don't, they do. Their energy levels deplete far more than an extrovert. Effectively, an extrovert, their energy depletes when they are doing nothing or not around social side or social beings. So, is it a solution? I don't think so. From a personal point of view, I always believe that if you want to interact, you want to interact with a human being and have a conversation with a human being. And, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get deeper into the conversation. But in terms of gender-based violence, now there's a lot of I call it distrust, right, in society. There's a lot of violence going on. There's a lot of attacks happening. There's a lot of gender-based domestic violence, rape, harassment, all of those things. SA, and we stopped trusting human beings, right? We stopped seeing human beings as people that a random stranger, instead of like going to help you in the situation, has an intention, and that intention effectively is to cause harm onto you. So also that it doesn't surprise me that if you are going to isolate yourself, you want to talk to someone. That's the social interaction that I'm talking about. That's the social being part that I'm talking about. You want to talk to someone, and who better to talk to in this situation than something that can talk back to you, but will never harm you in some way.
Or sense of judgment.
And provide you with a sense of judgment, or make you feel like you're inadequate and so forth. Because it's not just gender-based violence. We're talking about bullying as well. So like, there's a lot of things that I could say is causing distrust between social and human interaction.
Because one thing I've also felt, and we see this on a lot of different podcasts, the mindset of men and women.
Okay.
And I've seen it for the longest time, being I'm Christian, you Hindu. But our books say the same thing.
Sure.
It says man and woman need to procreate for society to move forward. And whenever we go to these tech shows, and this is where I feel that tech companies are pushing the boundaries where they shouldn't be with human and AI interaction, is this meme I saw the one day. There was this lady that said the guy needs to be 6 foot tall, make 6 figures, pack 6 inches, and have a 6-pack.
Okay.
And this has become the norm now. Not all women set that standard for men, but there's a few that ruin it, the few bad apples. In the same way as a man will want a woman that's doesn't have a high body count, can cook, can clean, and we are forgetting that the roles are equal but separate between man and woman.
Okay.
But I feel that the standards that we as people put on the opposite sex is what hinders also human compatibility, because you can like someone, but their standards, or you don't meet that person's standards, and the ironic thing is they don't meet their own standards. And what happens, it becomes comfortable for you now to go in and say, oh, here's my AI bot. I don't know if you remember the episode of Big Bang Theory with Raj, with Siri.
I'm going to be this person that unapologetically says has never watched Big Bang Theory.
Okay, so there was a scene, and please forgive me, but Raj had mutism when it came to women.
Okay.
And Siri was there. And the only time he would speak to a woman was when he was intoxicated.
Okay.
So now, eventually, he starts speaking to Siri, him and Siri meet in a dream. And as he goes into the dream, it's this beautiful fembot. It's like, oh, she's nice. But then Raj can't speak to her because he's sober.
Oh, he's sober and dreaming.
He's
sober and dreaming, and he's speaking to a bot that's on his phone. Okay.
But then he meets this bot, this robot in real life. And I looked at it like that. It's obviously selective mutism, because he struggled to speak to the opposite sex. Do you think it's also that we as human beings, a lot of it's not being done from a young age in schools and in our social environment where we don't build up kids with confidence?
So you spoke about Big Bang Theory. I watched a little darker series called Adolescence. It's a Netflix show about a child that was charged with murder.
Okay.
Right? And there was a lot of bullying going on historically. He did it. And there was a lot of bullying going on, and there was this term that escapes me now. But effectively, they called him a person or a boy that would forever be single. Right? I don't know what the word that they used at that point. It's a British word. And anyway, he tried to approach a girl, and he tried to have a conversation, and the camera caught him attacking her and eventually killing her. And this sparked this conversation that myself and my fiance had when we were watching it, is that as much as human beings need the interaction, we must be very careful about what the interaction is. So if you're going to have a normal conversation like what you and I are having, a very intellectually stimulated conversation, yeah, that's great, and it's really wonderful. But now, if we're going to start having conversations that are effectively going to cause us harm, like bullying and calling each other derogatory things and just using a whole lot of verbal abuse, it alters the mind.
Because I didn't remember growing up before AI was a big thing. Yes, we had the Terminator films that we both enjoy.
Oh, yes.
But let's look at it now from an innocence perspective.
Right.
And again, we look at it now spiritually, biblically, and in the Gita, and all religious books actually. But the innocence of a child.
Right.
Do you remember that child? I was one of those kids that had that invisible friend.
Oh, you had an imaginary friend?
Yes. Yeah, imaginary friend.
Yes.
Sorry, not invisible, but imaginary friend.
Yes.
And a lot of the times, most of the kids I knew had that imaginary friend.
Yeah.
But as we got older, sometimes we'd look at that person and say, with his imaginary friend, something not right with this individual.
Mm-hmm.
We would start to distance ourselves away. Do you think that AI now, with the technology that it has filled that void for children, and how dangerous do you think that is?
So I think that void was filled by social media, and social media runs on an algorithm, and whether that algorithm is run by an artificial intelligence tool or machine, I'm not too sure. Maybe now, possibly, but there's these reels and these shorts and this content that influences a lot of our decision making these days, right? I categorize media content in these three ways, right? So we got good, we got neutral, and we have just malevolent, like yes, malevolent. Okay, so good is education, STEM, like I'm going to teach you how to do long division, I'm going to teach you the world of physics, I'm going to teach you how atoms are formed and so forth. So STEM, right? Anything to do with maths, technology, and so forth. Then we've got neutral. Neutral is personal interest. So like hobbies. So for example, if I have to open my phone and go into social media, you'd mostly see Formula One, right? You'd mostly see how to set up a racing rig, yeah. And you'd mostly see there's another thing that I keep looking at most of the time. Drag racing. It was like all of these spec mod cars, right? And then following that, you get malevolent. And then also your makeup tutorial kits and stuff all fall under neutral. And then you get malevolent. And this is the part where I say, this is the part where we have this extremist mentalities and influences that come through. So like, For example, the body count theory, the traditionalism theory, the oversaturation of masculinity and femininity, all of that becomes malevolent, right? Take it further. You got your OnlyFans models also on Instagram. This is a randomly pop up, and you're like, what the heck is going on here? And you got them marketing themselves over there, and you have all of this information. So what do kids do nowadays? They're trying. Social media has become the primary point of learning, not the parents. Right, so your parents have your morals and values that they try to teach, and that's fine. That's absolutely okay. I mean, we have our morals and we have our values, and we were taught to us by our parents. We never had that piece of technology, and even if it did, it was a brick that is indestructible. Nokia. And in any event of that case over there, we learn from them. So if we have to ask, okay, can you help us with long division? Primary source of information.
Generally with a slip.
Generally with a slip, right? You needed to go look up information for school. We didn't have Google, or we didn't have social media. We had
Encyclopedia
Britannia. Okay, and we had those CDs that came from CNA, and that changed. Now we're looking for sources. Now kids are so alone right now that they isolated themselves from the parents, so they don't go to their parents anymore. It's like, what do our parents know, right? And they go into social media and they speak to their friends and stuff, and it's a very immature space. Why do I say it's a very immature space? It's an immature space because they won't worry about the STEM, they're a little worried about neutral, but they will focus on the malevolent. Why? Because it's eye catch. And that creates, would it create introvertism? Maybe. Would it create a lack of communication and interaction between people? Maybe. But will it alter the mind? Certainly. It will certainly alter the mind. Would they be more prone to violence at this point? Perhaps. Because now we're talking about a conflict of values and morals that are not being taught by anyone, but it's just an unfiltered source of influence and information that these kids are just fighting about. And coming back to your point, with more abuse happening, I mean, we're seeing it. There's a lot of irregulation of emotions. So, is it normal nowadays? Yes, we see a lot of irregulated kids, and parents don't know what to do with that. Is it a healthy thing?
Because I've seen one thing, and this is what's worried me a lot with parents today. And I don't have kids. You have any kids? No, not yet. So when you look at, I've seen with children, the parents, the attention span that parents have for their kids is not there.
Okay.
And it's easy, put the Wi-Fi on, give a 4-year-old a cell phone. Yes, you've regulated and you've put in YouTube Kids or whichever media platforms there are out there. But I'm going to look back and say, that is, for me, we've always got to look at the root of these things happening.
Okay.
But if you put a 4-year-old in, say the 4-year-old in 2012, right, that's 13 years ago, so that 4-year-old has had a screen in front of them, artificial intelligent voice all the time. When that child is 17, basically the only interaction they have is with that phone, because the parents have just said, here's the Wi-Fi to keep you quiet.
Right.
And again, it comes down to time management. Do you feel that a lot of the times when we have our young individuals, especially those who are prone to violence, do you think that this AI compatibility also starts because a lot of parents don't make time for their kids? They just give them the phone just to keep them happy, to keep them quiet, as a comfort zone for them?
I wouldn't say it's a comfort zone. So I've had kids and I've had parents come into the practice, and I was like, okay, what's wrong with my kid? They're not speaking. They act out whenever I take away the cell phone and whenever I take away any form of tech device, they lose their mind. Okay. So me and this child have this interactive conversation, and we come to the stem of it, and the stem is that all the child knows is this thing. So it has become his or her primary source of, comfort, interaction, information gathering, learning something. And look, to some degree, I don't want to blame parents. I understand that in this economy, previously, right? So like, the father would go to work and the mom would stay at home.
Yeah.
And there's the social interaction that's happening, right? So whether you're disciplining, whether you're teaching, whether you're talking, or whether you're both coexisting, there was this human figure, right, being your mom. And because the economy got very brutal, to live on one single household income, parents can't stay at home. Or if they are working from home, they can't give the kid a lot of attention. And I can say to you that the only thing that they can do is keep them stimulated. And how do you keep the kid stimulated in the 21st century is you give them a screen. Not necessarily a phone, but a screen. And this is a you can say it's some form of trying to keep the kids stimulated and quiet so you focus on your other aspects of life. But then after your work day is done, then what? You see this kid still sitting and playing with the screen and stuff. And then I was like, okay, where do you draw the line in this case? I fully agree that you are a 2 household income, right? I fully agree with that. I understand why you're doing it. But is there some form of interaction happening between you and your child? Yes, okay, what is it? Is it superficial? Is it either superficial, or is it something that's really deep? Or what is it? And if it's no, then why? Because I'm too tired. No.
Yeah, I get that, because I've asked people, and I've seen it, and not to throw anybody under the bus, but I've seen my own family. My one cousin, she's a complete disciplinarian.
Right.
She will say to her kid, listen, screen time is from 7 o'clock till 8:30.
Yeah, okay. So 1.5 hours effectively.
On condition that you've done the dishes, you've done your homework, you've exercised. And I think the third one, because I'm fat now, but I used to love exercising before. And I looked at her and I said to her, but why are you so that strict?
Is it strict, or is it something that is important for human relevancy?
It's the latter.
Okay.
And I sat back and I was thinking about it now. And she says to me, yeah, no, when the school holidays, I increase his screen time by an hour. Actually, not an hour, half an hour. But I take his phone at 9 o'clock. I'll let him play his PlayStation, but I put the Wi-Fi off.
So it doesn't go online?
Yes, so he can play his games. No Wi-Fi, so you can't go online, you can't do anything from 9 till 10. But that's on condition that all the other things have been done. And what I said earlier was, when you just throw the phone at the kid, there's no, like growing up with us, there was always incentives. You couldn't just, like, obviously we grew up together. We couldn't just put on the Xbox at home if you didn't do
certain elements of things.
Certain things. And now I think it's when you give the child a phone, there's no incentive for that child to work towards something. Now, yes, we all want our kids to be technologically advanced, but again, I'm gonna rub some feathers or people up the wrong way. But hence why it's unapologetic. It's like your car. You look at the prices that you're paying just for electronics. But as gearheads or engine heads, or petrol heads, that's the right term to use, not gearheads, Americans. As petrol heads, what do you prefer, the V8 or naturally aspirated V8 or your twin turbo?
I'm more of a naturally aspirated V8 individual.
So when you said that, now I look at it in the same way that you'll get some parents that will have their kids advanced academically, where they'll teach the kids the alphabet. I don't know if you've seen those alphabet mats.
Yeah.
And they buy that, and that's the investment. And the cousin that I was speaking about, she's got 2 kids. The first child, when she was 3, she already knew a couple of letters in the alphabet. When it comes down, she actually gives the phone back to her mother. She says to her mother now, look, Mama, I don't want the screen time on the phone. Could you rather give me something else to do? Before she got to grade 1, she already knew how to read. And I'm not talking novels, I'm just a couple of sentences, and she could write her name. Now, obviously, you learn that in pre-primary and primary school. But now, kids are like, I go out, I see the kids, nephews and nieces. As soon as you want to interact with these children, what's the first thing they've got?
A cell phone.
And they're looking at that screen. They'll say, hello, uncle, hello, auntie. Oh, uncle, I did hug. And then you're back on the screen.
Right. So there was this interaction that I had with 2 of my friends not too long ago. Was it? I think it was pre 2020, and we sat amongst ourselves, and we were sitting, and I was responding to a text, and the 2 of them were scrolling through their phone, Instagram, all of that stuff. It hit me it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like we in this space, but we are different ecosystems. Right? I'm expecting, and probably it's my own old way of thinking, is that when I'm amongst people, we need to talk.
Yes.
Right? But we in the same space, same living room, but we're in different ecosystems, and I didn't like it. So I got very annoyed, and I'm like, okay, guys, I'm putting my phone here. Can you put your phones down for a second? And let's try and talk, have a conversation. It was so hard to actually, for them it was very hard to register what the hell I was actually asking them, because what is a conversation, And here's the thing, right? So human beings are very, depending on how we're conditioned, what we learn, we're pretty much geniuses in some way, one way or another. We're good with certain things, right? If we are not academically inclined, then we are creatively inclined. We are creatively inclined. If we are not creatively inclined, then we good with our hands and so forth, right? So there's always something that human beings are good at based on what we are conditioned to do. So like, you can't call a farmer an idiot because he does not know how to use certain pieces of technology, right? You can't, it's just because he knows how to use a tractor and he knows the way of how, to grow crops and stuff. If you take him out of that environment and put him into, let's say, a corporation, and he doesn't know what he's doing, of course he's not going to know what he's going to do, right? But if he learns to do it, then sure, he probably is. You have to give him that chance. Human beings, in order for us to be relevant, in order for us to be conscious, in order for us to be really good at what we do, and even socially able, we need to realize certain things. Is that there are tools that we have cognitive, we have a cognition which we need to build and train and practice every day, and that's through learning, that's through reading, and that's through interaction. Then we have the ability to task manage. So we know how to manage our tasks really well, and we divide our tasks. I don't know if you remember, but in school, before we wrote an essay, they told us to do a mind map, spidergram, whatever they call it. So we are dividing our tasks. And then after that, we are able to solve the problem. That is what makes us relevant as human beings. Now, take Eunice for example. She would most likely, in the absence of technology, be able to solve problems.
Yeah.
Task-orientated problems. Like task stuff like in small bites and then solve the problem well, whatever question is given, I suppose. Now we come to the use of artificial intelligence, AI. Now AI is a brilliant tool.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful tool, but how we're using it sometimes can be a bit abusive.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be there's no moderation at all. Now I'll give you an example. I have a question in my mind. Let's say the question is, why do energy drinks taste bad? It's a random question, right? So now I'll go and be like, okay, now I'll take a spidergram and be like, okay, I think it's the flavoring. I think it's the caffeine. I think it's severe amount of added sugar in it. And then I type out my essay. And then I go to ChatGPT or learning machines and be like, okay. But I even ask questions as well. So like, why do you think Monster tastes better than Red Bull, or Red Bull tastes better than Power Play or Prime? Prime never, yeah. But anyway, then when I ask my questions and so forth and I get my information, I then go to Chat. Or I then go to Copilot, or I then go to Gemini, wherever I feel like I am, I will go. And I'll be like, okay, can you credit check? When I say credit check, I mean, I need this information to be accurate. I need it to be backed by research. I need it to be something that, did I type a bunch of bullshit? Or did I actually make an observation that is accurate and relevant and is backed by, research that's done by, pros in the field of energy drinks? I don't know if they are. But, and then after that, that's how we use the chat. How they're using it today is that if I have to ask anyone a question of recent,
ChatGPT.
Let's ChatGPT. If somebody wants to build out an email and they don't know what to say, or they don't know how to say it, ChatGPT.
Because this is why I feel that your profession is so important. Because it helps people interact, and again, you guys don't really need the technology. If I'm speaking under correction, please advise me. But when you have a human interaction with someone, again, I always look at it, mental health as a factor that affects not only men, but also women, children. And now, I can't hide behind technology if I've got a mental problem.
They usually do. So like, there was this instance where people were sick, they would Google it first before they go to the doctor.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, like, when I necessarily mean hide behind AI,
okay,
it's good to speak out. I remember many years ago I had depression.
Okay.
And I kept hiding it away, and I found an escape, but the escape was not the right escape.
Okay.
Again, yes, you read your Bibles, but what is the Bible, you get your Quran, Torah, it all tells you the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to God, and God will put the people in your life.
Sure.
Now, I can't go and sit and chat GPT to find as a way to make myself feel better about myself, because what ChatGPT is going to do is it's going to sugarcoat the problem, and this is no disrespect to ChatGPT, or it's going to give me an alternative solution based on an algorithm, and it might end up with me taking my own life, because the situation I might misinterpret, as we do with a lot of things in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go out, again, sit with a professional, you get the person sitting there gets more insight, having one-on-one human interaction. It's the same way, like, again, when people go dating, AI indirectly kills the dating pool, because people don't have that confidence. That's why there's such a huge spike in pornography.
Okay, all right. So yes. Okay, this is quite an interesting angle that you took. So we're talking about digital sexualization,
Yes.
and it again, that's also a very historic piece of technology, but still relevant in today, right? So when we talk about introvertism, understandable. There's a difference between introvertism and a child that's been severely bullied to the point that he can't use his voice.
Yes.
So there's this belief that's created. And yes, like you said, they can go into a very saddened stage in their lives. And then they're looking again for some form of social interaction. One of those bad habits that you talked about now is digital sexualization or pornography, and the moment it hits your dopamine as fast as anything out there, right? So probably as fast as certain like substances that people take, and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel I don't know. Does it make you feel important? I'm not really sure. Does it make you feel like you've accomplished something? Does it fulfill a certain role? These are very important questions we must uncover over time. But it is something that people get addicted to, that increases their dopamine, but it does reduce their ability to socialize.
Yes.
Right. So even so, it does reduce the ability to actually, connect with the opposite sex or same sex, and it does create the problem. So it's not even a plaster at this point. It's Hades.
Yeah.
At this point.
And that is why when I was sitting back, you and I had this when we were speaking about this off air.
Yeah.
About the dangers of AI.
Yes.
And what obviously is what we see on TV is what we think is normal, is in the normal world. Yeah. A lot of the time, CGI, wonderful thing for movies.
Yes.
Fantastic. But also, it hinders you and it hinders your ability. Because again, yes, science and technology is very important.
Yeah.
But the purpose of us being on Earth is to reproduce all the time. We don't see, and I'm a firm believer we can learn a lot from animals, but we don't want to learn from animals.
Well, so yeah. From an evolutionary perspective, I get where you come from. Yeah.
I remember I had a massive bulbul. Bulbul would come in the house, sit and watch TV, but then would get bored and would go out. And over time, and I've picked this up a lot with dogs and even cats. Cats don't just like to sit in the house and watch what you're watching. The cats just go out, go into the street, run around, interact, fight with other cats, come back.
No, but that was okay. I'm not comparing humans to animals in this case over here, but we've done that as well. Like
we used to do that.
We're talking about like early 2000, maybe in the 90s and so forth back, right? So we would sit and we would sit for a period of time watching. We had specific things to watch, right?
Because I like to look at us when we were younger. We go and play cricket.
Mm-hmm.
And infuriate the neighbors that we hit the ball into someone else's yard.
Right.
The only time we weren't outside was when it was raining.
Yes.
But then I'd be playing PlayStation or Xbox, but we were finding some other construct to do. Just before we finish, people's marriages fail today. That's why children don't interact anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's because that mindset of a dog is to love their owner more than they love themselves. Mm-hmm. We have started to instead love AI and technology, which wasn't the intention of AI in the first place, but because man had some means and ways found a way to corrupt the system.
So you're going back to the sexual digitalization?
Well, with everything, basically. Okay. And you see now that a lot of the times couples, they don't really interact anymore. They say Netflix and chill, but you're not 5 minutes and you're sleeping most of the time. But what the point that I'm making is, when you look at an animal, especially your dog or your cat. The dog in particular will come and lay with the owner, either in the bed or on the couch, whatever, or sit on the floor. But they just want to be around that person. Now I know we all need our alone time, animals also, but we don't have that. I feel we don't have that interaction anymore because we become so commercially driven in our lives. And yes, AI does a lot of things. AI makes your life easier, but in my honest opinion, I think AI has made our lives too easy because now it's too much excuses for humans not to interact with other humans.
I think the one thing you've touched on in very with great importance is human autonomy.
Yes.
Right? We naturally we have this autonomy. We know it as free will, right? So autonomy helps us make decisions, right? You can autonomously like BMW. I can autonomously like Mercedes or Audi, and
look, I'm a McLaren fan, so we'll speak a little about Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
Or we won't speak about it.
We don't speak about it. But we make choices.
Yes.
That is what autonomy is. That is what free will is. We make choices. We make the choice to come home exhausted and not speak to our partners and cause a degradation of the relationsh't, and then we realize that we have a communication problem. Okay, and then we try to solve that matter. On topic of malevolency, right? We also have free will. So it was good and evil, right? You have your hero, you have your villain, you have your antagonist, you have your protagonist, all of those things, right? And what is good AI versus bad AI? What is good development versus bad development? And those are categories that are there, right? So ChatGPT is pretty much a good thing, right? It has certain ethical principles to ensure that nothing is explicit. Right? So if you had to go type in a very explicit text in your ChatGPT or in your Gemini or something like that, it usually will kick it out. But then we have other things, right? But then we have the antagonistic part. There's no ethical regulation at all, right? And we start to realize that one piece of code, that the one law in iRobot, there are 3 laws.
Yeah.
This one particular law is missing. Create anything you want. Do whatever you want. Create this algorithm or create this text or create this image or create this video that is so explicit that it becomes pretty much dangerous in that essence. On the topic of Netflix and chill and so forth, like I said, we have free will. Humans need to interact, but somewhere along the lines there's a decline in interaction. Could it be because of artificial intelligence? Could it be social media and algorithmic changes? Could it be just trust because of certain things that are influencing you? So there's quite a number of things on that one. Yeah.
What do you think can be done? Because I'm a firm believer sport. Like we have our men's day, our boys' day with paintball.
Yeah.
And yes, we won't speak about how many times you shoot me. But that is wonderful interaction because that's the one time where we're not digital with anything.
No.
Our phones are away.
Yes.
It's guys and girls that come along. Yes, Nicole, we miss you. But with all of those things, when we have that camaraderie, the only time we took I remember whenever we go, the only time we take the phones out is to show how we got shot. Well, how I got shot.
Pretty much a before and after picture.
Yes, and then a group picture. And then again, the phones are back inside, we go back in and we interact with each other. Yeah. And I feel that today it's just become, I was watching South Park this morning. And it was so funny because now Trump was speaking to one of his military guys. But the guy is digitizing everything. Got a little selfie stick out, and yes, we know South Park takes the piss out of everybody. But look at that, you're walking to a crime scene, or you're walking into anything. Oh guys, look at me. That's now the AI, because nobody's giving you that attention. So unfortunately, you're looking for that attention.
Oh, well, that's the thing, right? So coming back to couples at home, if you're gonna you scroll as much as you want or deep as you can on your phone, watching those videos, you're gonna find something that is going to grasp your attention, and it's gonna send you to a hole where it's going to be very difficult for you to come out of, right? And I'm talking about, so over a period of time, I was on YouTube Shorts, and again, majority of the stuff on my YouTube algorithm is Formula One, guns. On YouTube, definitely guns, a lot of guns, and then somewhere along the lines, there's these tutorials again on how to do SIM cards. And then as you scroll and scroll and scroll, you go into this rabbit hole of scrolling. You find these ads that pop up, right? And one of these ads struck me as I felt kind of like, why is this here? What the hell is this? It was called the AI Girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was like, huh? We are here now. We are here. Okay, so, I scrolled past it, but it kept, I went to talk to Selena about it, and I sat there and I was like, how many times have you seen this post? Like, come on, it's been many times. Now we're having this conversation, now there's this valuable interaction that's happening, which is very important. People don't have that conversation, right? And you have a person most likely clicking on it and creating a girlfriend. Now if your relationship is not, there's no communication now, and now you're communicating with an AI chatbot about intimate things. Why?
And it brings back the movie, remember Simone?
I briefly watched it, was it with Al Pacino?
Yes.
Okay.
And that should have, for me, been a warning as to where AI is going.
Okay.
Because obviously Simone was a fictional being, very beautifully made. But again, there needs to be, you can't just have an emotional reaction or a relationship with someone. It needs to also be physical.
Okay, yes.
It's not necessarily sex, but if you've had a bad day, you come home. That AI girlfriend on your phone is not going to hug you. If the network is off.
No, for sure. It's definitely not.
And the thing is, what I saw was there's pricing on some of these things. When you download these apps, there's a pricing point to it.
Yeah.
So I saw one that was 1,500 rand for the year, and you get three videos daily and multiple pictures. I think you get like 10 pictures daily.
Of what?
Of the AI girlfriend.
And it's explicit things?
I wouldn't know if it's explicit, but you kind of put two and two together that it is explicit. And what I saw from that was, it was 1,250 rand. Well, let's talk about 1,200 rand, just to make our maths easier. It's 100 rand a month to have a girlfriend. Now, again, or a boyfriend. And what I'm saying is we've put so much pressure on each other. Gone are the days where you have a nice date at home.
Yeah.
Right? You go out, have to go to a fancy restaurant. 9 times out of 10 is a problem. But I'm gonna eat a lot, and then the bill's gonna come maybe just on my side. It's gonna be 300 rand.
Okay.
Just for myself, hypothetically. Now I've gone out with a partner, and if we go out twice a month, so maybe that's she's eaten 150 rand, it's 400 rand. Twice a month is 800 rand.
Right.
In a year, it's let's round off to 9,000 rand.
Okay.
For the year.
Well, what are you getting out of that?
Yes, you're getting interactive conversations, but also on the opposite end of the spectrum, people go out on dates for happy meals.
That's fine.
And the thing is, obviously, you've spent so much money, and this person's ghosted me. You find out the person's ghosted you the following morning or the following week after you guys have gone out. And I look at it and I said to him, and when you sit down, the rational thing now is not to blame a lonely individual for going to go and have that AI bot.
Sure. Okay, I understand your trail, right? So you're saying that there are people that go out on dates and they spend lavishly, and that's great. And then there are individuals that go to McDonald's, and next thing you know, they're not seeing this person anymore, right? They ghosted, and this is that expectation that I was talking about, and that influence that social media has, and so forth. Okay, fine, and sure. Look, I don't blame the person for doing what they're doing. They're doing something to feel something. Whether it's to feel accepted, whether it's to feel loved, whether it's to feel comforted, whether it's to feel cared for. I don't blame them. It's not their fault that they went to go pick up an AI bot. Right?
Yeah.
What I can say to you is that what I would say is that it's not going to end well. Well, the start is already good.
Yeah, because I'm a firm believer that endurance is important with everything.
Okay.
Whether it's in your spiritual life, whether it's in your personal life, business life.
Yeah.
And yes, people get blown off. It's a part of life. It's a part of growing. But you need to use the trauma for good, not bad.
And you talk about trauma resilience building, but okay.
Yeah, and when I've seen it, I've been ghosted. I've ghosted people. So I always like to look at it from both sides of the spectrum. Sometimes you find someone that you click with, but it's only a facade.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that people have to stop trying. I'm a firm believer that, it's like Gary Clay said, the more I played, the luckier I got.
Right.
And good things happen when you least expect it to happen.
So are you saying that instead of falling into weakness,
yes,
endure the suffering to ensure reward later? Or so effectively saying that, okay, over a period of time, after multiple amounts of rejections, you will finally find that one person that will belong.
Yes, I'm not saying everybody gets their fairy tale ending.
Sure.
But also you can also help someone else, because, for example, now I've seen it when I've been blown off. I don't paint people with the same paintbrush, and I think that's where this AI's come in with the compatibility bots for human beings. Is we tend to paint each other because now I've been scarred by someone else, or I've scarred someone else. The next person that comes into the picture, we're going to say, you know what, screw you. I am going to paint you with the same paintbrush.
Sure.
As the last person. And for me, that's immediately where you've got your footing off, got off on the wrong footing. If someone does something to you all the time that's bad, remember, karma. The thing about karma, a friend of mine said to me, the thing about karma knows everybody's address.
Yeah.
You can only get away with something for so long.
Right.
But also, there's good things that happen. Because I watched a chick flick not a few years ago. I don't know if you remember the movie, It's Not That Into You.
No.
Okay. So, well, you and Selena have to watch that movie.
I think we have a very different understanding of what we watch, like genre wise.
But where I'm getting with this is, so Drew Barrymore always got rejected in a film.
Yes.
There were different guys, and what had happened was, eventually in the end, she found someone, right? And she was happy in the end. But the endurance, and it was also online dating. She had a guy, again, using technology, phones her, sings her a song, and then he uses the other chick that he was with, he uses her name, and then he realizes what he's done.
Oh dear.
So that kind of thing, it's very easy to paint some with
With the same brush.
And I'm a believer that yes, if you have a heartbreak or anything that bad happens to you, you take time, you step away, you reflect, and then you go back into the pool.
So effectively, based on throughout this entire conversation, we've talked about points of distrust, right? So we've talked about how gender-based violence, you're gonna paint the opposite sex now,
Yes.
so the opposite gender with the same brush, and then that creates distrust, and you go into intent. We spoke about kids and how social media has become their primary source of information, and let alone the fact they will always believe that human beings, whatever information they tell them is lies, because now they have to go and be like, is this true? Whereas before they would go ask their moms, like, is this true? Or that. And then we come to the relationship aspect of it and say, you know, whether there's ghosting or there's a lack of communication that's happening, there's a degradation in the relationship, which is going to make you feel isolated and alone and vulnerable, so to say. All of these aspects over here lead to one thing, is that, okay, human beings can no longer be trusted, but I need to interact with something, and that interaction would be some form of technology, whether it's social media or an AI, and now AI bots that are very sexually explicit and ready. What can happen is a lot of things, you know. So there could be a thing of, you know, like we have porn addiction, we could have an addiction being formed in this case over here. There can be this reliancy that forms and develops. It can further decay social interaction. You would stop talking to people. So there's a lot of, like I said, everything in moderation, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think porn is a moderated thing. It should not be done. If you are in a relationship, it shouldn't happen at all.
Yes.
What's the point? Why are you doing it? Okay, well, now that we understand why, how do we fix that? You know, that kind of thing. But you see the thing. So like as a kid, yeah, sure, you explore and stuff. That's understandable. It shouldn't continue, right? So there's a lot of things that happen here. One thing that I would say to you all the time is that there must be ethical guidelines to your AI. It's your ecosystem, it's not their ecosystem, or it's not the AI's ecosystem or social media's ecosystem. So you're in control of that. It must be done in moderation. It must be a thing where, in order for you to be relevant as humans, especially in the social setting, or at least in a relationship setting, is continuously learn how to communicate, continuously learn how to, like, just focus on the part that you're on, you know? Just learn how to speak, small talk, all of that stuff. It will come with time. And one thing that I do know is that people are impatient.
Yeah.
So that's why they will go for anything that's fast, but also extremely pathological.
Alec, thank you very much for coming on.
Right.
So Lemniscate Counseling and Wellness, their link will be in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I ask you to please like, comment, share and subscribe. And God bless.